2, 1.
Oh my gosh, that was so epic.
I think that's it.
There he is.
You guys ready? Let's pull it.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh. Hey! And JB's on there!
600!
600! Yes! Yay! 600 mile time. That would be just.
So here we are, back with the real Supercharger. Okay, we are on the test track.
I'd recommend putting your head on the headrest.
Okay.
There he's ready. Nope.
Yep. Oh, there it goes. Oh, that never gets old either. We have the post-study production cars here.
Wait, what?
Yeah, oh yeah, you watch it.
Well, why is he gonna throw it?
I don't know, but we're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Just use a sledgehammer. What?
Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
I'm Eric, otherwise known as Derek, here in Shanghai at Gigafactory 3.
Ballapalooza. It's like tricks.
3, 2, 1.
Will it wipe is the big question of the day.
Will it wipe?
Generic cornflakes.
Whoa! It's raining cornflakes! Oh. This is trippy. Look, there's nothing here. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. It is, wow, October 25th already.
26, isn't it? I think
25th. You thought it was the 26th earlier,
I've
but
been
it's the
wrong all day
25th.
long. Wow.
Yeah, he's been wrong all
We'll
day.
get an extra day then.
But yeah, I can't believe October is almost done. Welcome everybody though. Great to see everybody in chat. We're gonna kind of do the usual, go over some news. It's been a while since we've done some news because we had 2 live streams last week that was like other events, and then so we foregoed that live stream. It's been a while, so we have a few things to catch up on. And Kit came to say hi. It is very cold outside right now.
Yeah, it's like 10 degrees Fahrenheit here in Colorado.
I'm looking outside right now, and I don't like it.
Been snowing all day.
Yeah. But basically, let's jump right into the news. First off, thank you to Ryan, Trace and Mike for the referrals. Much appreciated. hopefully you guys enjoy your car. So first thing first, that's probably obviously the biggest thing is, yes, the full self-driving beta update is going out to safe drivers to start testing. And we didn't get it. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, for the most part, it looks like for the most part it's gone to California. Unfortunately, we're not in California, we're in Colorado. We have seen some other people like in Hawaii, Florida, North Carolina, a few other states like Arizona. They've gotten it, but it seems like the people in those states who've gotten it have been like the president or their head of like the local Tesla owners club. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence, but it looks like those are the safe owners that they're sending it to.
Yeah, and it was reported that basically anybody who gets it can actually share this online. They can share their experience with the exception of they can't live stream. But I mean, just don't live stream.
So basically we didn't get it yet, and unfortunately the local Tesla Owners Club owner here doesn't have hardware 3, so I guess that's why we don't have anyone that we know here with it yet. But we're looking forward to it. We've seen a lot of videos have come out, and it looks pretty good. There's a lot new visualizations on the screen showing like drivable, where you can drive. They're showing the medians, they're showing cross traffic, traffic you're following, oncoming traffic. There's all kinds of new visualizations on there. Those probably aren't going to stay on there. That's just for like the beta version and to help the developers see what's going on, what the car is seeing.
Yeah.
But it's cool because we've seen a lot of videos and it looks like it's been able to handle, left turns, right turns, roundabouts, traffic circles.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get it soon. Now, if we weren't in a global pandemic, I would just hop on a plane to California to go check it out. But it's the world we live in now, so we're not going to do that. Or drive out there.
But what I'm wondering though, so we've seen it, mostly these people have been limited to California and some other states. How come we haven't seen any videos of these people trying to leave those states? Does it work outside of those states? I haven't seen any.
I mean, it must, because there's more people popping up all over the U.S. with it. But it seems like a very slow rollout outside of California.
Yeah, but I've seen some people have done some long drives, 100 miles and stuff like that. So people are trying to put it to its test. But it'd be cool when we can actually try it out for ourselves. But yeah, so we don't have any video of that, but it is definitely cool. It's night and day from what they had before.
Yeah, and I've actually been talking to some contacts out in California to see if they can do some testing and get me some video. So maybe I'll have some stuff. But kind of on that note, being that full self-driving beta's been released, Elon actually said FSD is going to be increasing by $2,000.
Yes.
So it'll be $10,000.
Yeah,
for full self-driving.
Originally, the price update was supposed to be tomorrow on Monday, but I think a few days back, he said it's going to be another week. So we're thinking it might be next Thursday, actually. So it might still be a few days before it goes up. But it's kind of weird that they're raising the price before anybody actually has a chance to actually use it yet. They're seeing some of these test videos, but it's a lot of money to spend, like $8,000, without actually being able to try it out yourself.
Yeah, and I see X actually commented in chat, is this the last price raise? Probably not. Elon said it's going to keep getting more and more expensive. So I just don't know, at what cost does it peak?
The problem is how much can they keep raising it? Because people aren't going to buy it anymore if it's too expensive. As we've talked in the past, we've bought like 12 Teslas over the past 4 years, and combined, some of those had full self-driving, some of them didn't, or at least we paid for it. They didn't have the functionality yet. But we spent like $68,000 on 12 cars, and we didn't really get our money's worth out of that. So if they keep raising the price, I think that's going to take the initial buy rate. People aren't going to buy it initially.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we'll have to kind of see how that goes.
But Elon did mention subscriptions, so we'll see how that goes. But it's not going to be cheap, I don't think.
Have a subscription video, sneak peek to all you in chat, coming up this week. And I just don't know how subscription's going to work. I don't know how much they're going to keep raising full self-driving. Yeah. That is the one nice thing, though, is if you are interested in buying a Cybertruck and you put in the order for that, you could actually lock in your FSD at $8,000 if you do it before the $2,000 price hike. And I believe it is still only a $100 reservation fee. Yeah,
and it's funny because I saw some people were putting in requests to Elon. It's like, can we buy just full self-driving without a car? Because they were just basically trying to lock in the price of full self-driving.
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Even though they don't have the... Unfortunately, I don't think Tesla allows that yet. You can't just buy the full self-driving. It would be nice if you could.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible idea. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's one reason why we did go for the Plaid Model S too. We can lock in our FSD. So I don't know. It's a bummer for a lot of people that were hoping it would get a little cheaper, go back on sale. Because it's just going to keep getting more expensive.
Yeah. And also, so on Wednesday, they had the third quarter earnings call. We thought there would be a little more information, but they didn't really give any hints about anything. It was, a recap of the third
pretty low
quarter.
key.
They didn't talk about much of the future, some with the gigafactories in Texas and Berlin and stuff, but they didn't talk about any like version 11 information. So we're thinking that, if this full self-driving beta can get the testing done and it goes well, then hopefully that will become part of the version 11 firmware, which hopefully we'll see later this year, maybe in December.
Yep.
But we don't know what else would be included in that. Elon's tweeted about all kinds of other features, but who knows what's going to be in it yet.
Yeah. Thank you, John, for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it. It said, if you drive over 65 miles an hour, you are not considered a safe driver. I mean, some roads it's like 75, right?
Yeah, depending on what state you're in and where you're at on the highway.
Maybe Elon saw that I raced Teslas and was like, no.
I don't know. I think that, like we said, from what I've seen, it's people who are like Tesla owners groups. And so if they're in charge, they know a lot about Teslas. They've been around a while. We've been around a while too, and we've owned a lot of Teslas. So I think we're pretty safe drivers. Hopefully we'll be on that list pretty soon.
I mean, never got into an accident. Knock on wood.
Well, wait a minute. There was that when you had like a Model 3, somebody rear-ended you, but you were like stopped.
I have never caused an accident in a Tesla. Knock on wood. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we'll just have to kind of see how that goes. I mean, I did a poll on Twitter. I think it's closed now though. But the overwhelming response was people would pay up to $100 for their FSD subscription, which I think is too low to make it a good business case
they're not
for
gonna do
Tesla.
that 'cause they're not going to give away the.
We go on a long tangent and video about it this week, mathing everything out and possible options. So definitely check that out. Coming later. Jim said knock on plastic wood. It's actually, I have bamboo desk.
Yeah.
So it is real wood. It's bamboo. So we're good there. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Next up. So 7-seater Model Y. Elon has said it's coming later this year, December.
Yeah, and so that probably means they have that single unibody casting or whatever they've been talking about. And that's what was
required.
And as we saw too, like a week or so ago, they had a lot of changes were announced for the Model 3, and we had done a prediction video. A lot of those are coming. A couple of things we missed out on, but basically the Model 3's been updated.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they've upgraded the range on the Model 3, the Model Y, the Model S, and the Model X. So there's been a lot of changes with those, for the fourth quarter. It's amazing they were able to add almost 10% for the Model 3 range, and that's because they moved that heat pump over there. And also the battery formulation has changed. The chemistry has changed slightly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things changed with all of that. And then that will kind of take us into something else that has changed. So used Teslas had a 4-year warranty they used to have.
Some were 2, some were 4, depending on how old they are.
True. Right. It was weird, though, how they kind of did it. But now, if it's new enough, they're giving you the remainder of that 4-year 50,000-mile warranty, then an additional 1-year 10,000-mile warranty on top of that. So basically, if we look at this car, the basic warranty, which is the remainder of that 4-year 50,000, is through July of 2021 on this 2017, and then additional 1-year 10,000-mile on top of that, rather than just giving you a straight 2 or 4 year.
Yeah.
So this actually, I think, will work in favor of people a little bit more so if you're looking for a newer car.
Especially
but if
for
you're
newer
looking
cars.
for something more than 4 years old, you're going to get half the warranty you normally would have gotten.
Yeah. So in some ways it's worse, in some ways it's better, because if you have a car that's like a loaner, not a loaner, but like a demo model or something that they're selling and it's only got 500 miles on it, it might still have a full 4-year warranty, but they're going to add another year on top of that.
Yeah, so you can almost get 5 years.
You can get some longer warranties, but on those older cars that are older than 4 years, you're not going to get that 4 years anymore. You're going to get only 1 year or another 10,000 miles.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It depends really how old of a Tesla you're looking for used.
Yeah.
but something that you definitely can look into. Now, reading through chat real quick, I see some people asked about the Hummer and everything. We actually did a live stream on the Hummer
On Tuesday, yep.
I would suggest go check that video out if you want to learn more about the Hummer.
Yeah, and it was an interesting video. It was a very disappointing unveiling, though. We were expecting something
hot mess.
We were something really slick like Tesla or like Lucid did when they released the Lucid Air. But all that GM did with the Hummer was they just put a video up, and there was no announcement, no talking or anything. It was just like a pre-recorded video with like all CGI and stuff. That was not a real vehicle. And for what I've read elsewhere, something like Jerry Rig Everything did a video about it. But I've heard there's no actual working Hummer EV now. That was just like a body or a shell, and they have the body platform, or they have the battery platform, but there's no real one. So all those videos you see of the Hummer EV are just fake.
Yeah.
So it's disappointing. And how are they going to come up with a real car in the next 11 months? It'll be interesting to see. But it's nice. They did have some cool specs. And when I first saw it, it's like, oh, that's really expensive compared to the Cybertruck. But when I look at it compared to what the Model S cost a few years ago, it's not that bad. But it's still definitely going to be more than the Cybertruck. But it's going to have a few more features.
Yeah, and I see somebody already commented the Hummer was all CGI.
Yeah.
Nicola. Yeah, maybe they hired Nicola staff to make that video.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite possible.
Yeah.
You never really
they
know.
They do have a partnership with them.
But I mean, it was pretty uneventful.
Really disappointed with their presentation. Yeah, there was no presentation. It was just a video.
It was just a video.
Why have
which
a countdown
through their
for
website, you couldn't get audio, or it was hit and miss, and it was a hot mess. But if you want to watch it, you can go check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe we've talked about maybe doing like a Hummer specific video where we can talk about it. I don't know. It's not something I was gonna do, and I even tried. To be honest, I even tried pre-ordering it.
Yeah,
but their
it didn't
website
work.
on a computer, great. Like the last button would not show up on any of my computers. I tried these two computers. I tried my laptop. And then I went to my phone, and the button's there.
Yeah, so basically,
it was
you couldn't
really
submit a
nightmare.
reservation. It was really poor, but they're trying to take initial orders, and we were going to put one in for the top of the line model, and there was no submit button, and that's just massive fail on their part.
Yeah. So, long story short, I didn't even bother pre-ordering one.
Yeah.
There we go.
We thought about it. We were going to. But,
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Tesla news.
Oh, yeah.
One other thing that changed recently, it sounds like Tesla got rid of their 7-day return policy. So it used to be that when you ordered a car, since you didn't necessarily have the chance to test drive it, they give you a week. You could pick it up, you could drive it around and put a certain number of miles on it. And if you decided you didn't like it, you could return it. Sounds like that is gone.
Yeah, gone are the days of 7 days of free trial, basically. Which, I mean, you could look at this a couple ways.
It's pretty
One,
unbelievable for one.
no one was using it, and they were just like, well, it's kind of stupid.
I think some people were using
Or some people were using it to the point where they were abusing it.
Yeah.
Likely the latter, because that's normally what ruins all good things. So gone is that, basically. So if you want a car and you've never driven one, try test driving one first. Now, I know here in Colorado through the Denver Tesla Club, if anyone was looking to like check one out before they actually bought one, we would all help out. Now, in this day and age, it's a little different. So if you are looking to test drive, Tesla is still doing no contact test drives. So you can definitely check that out.
But it's one thing about that too is now if you're going to purchase a car, you don't have that 7-day return period anymore. So make sure you check out the car thoroughly and make sure it's okay.
For sure.
Don't accept it if there's major problems with it. You know, we've picked up 12 cars over the years. Some of them were perfect. Some of them had a few issues, but all of the issues were always fixed to our satisfaction. So we don't have any lingering issues. So we've never had a car that we've actually had to reject. Some people do. Some people are a little pickier than others, but some people definitely get cars that have worse problems than others. So,
Most definitely.
So don't take delivery and then try to return it in a week. Definitely reject it. But that does limit you. You're not allowed to reorder that exact same model for like a year. So
Exactly. So just be careful. Make sure you really look over your vehicle.
yeah.
Next up. So a while back, we commented on the MCU2 upgrade for older Model S's and X's, of which we did. And how do we like it?
It's great. It's like having a new car
amazing.
again. It's almost like a 2020 car, except I don't have the latest range and the latest and greatest suspension. Other than that, it's like a brand new car.
But when doing that upgrade, you actually lose your radio tuner. So they wouldn't like retrofit that at the time.
So basically, the original MCU1 had an AM, FM, and XM analog tuner. But as part of the MCU2 upgrade, most newer cars that have the MCU2 have a digital tuner. And as part of the upgrade, they didn't install a new tuner, and they didn't hook hook it up because they didn't install one. So basically now a lot of people have complained, and we've seen wording like in Europe, especially in the UK, they've announced a price that's going to be about £500 or 500 euros. So we're expecting probably $400 or $500 when they do bring that to the United States, but they don't have a set price on it yet. But if you do check the tesla.com/support/infotainment, it has a few new questions that have been added that says that, you know, you will lose it, but they're coming out with an upgrade. You can either get it done, you know, if they have the parts in stock later this quarter, you can get it done at the same time as the UMC2 upgrade, or you can get it done later. There's no discount on price, so there's no increase in price. So since we already paid that $2,500 to get the brand new MCU2 upgrade and the new screen, whatever price is for the radio, we're not going to be paying any extra than like the set price for that upgrade. So that would not bring back AM, but it will bring back like FM and XM. And that's something that some people never use. But you know, when I used to drive to work, I would listen to FM radio because it was local talk radio every morning or every afternoon on the way home. But since, you know, I've been working from home, so I don't really miss the FM radio. So I think depending on the price, I don't know if we'll actually get it after all. I was 100% for it back in, you know, when we were first talking about it a few months ago. And I'm like, I don't know if I need it.
Yeah, and so like what Tesla says on their website, it's about halfway down on the link that David said. And it's also up there if you want to check it out. Said later, or is there a way to keep access to AM, FM, and Sirius XM radio? Yes. Later in Q4 2020, it will be possible to retain access to FM radio and Sirius XM radio with an additional radio upgrade, which includes the installation of compatible radio tuner and antennas. It is not possible to retain access to the AM radio.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. But it is nice that it's coming. Clearly, Tesla heard everybody really wanted that.
So Tesla, when they originally did that, they said, oh, you don't need an FM tuner. You can just use TuneIn and listen to a lot of your radio stations there. Problem is a lot of stations moved off of like TuneIn last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, and they're not available because they're on like iHeartRadio or radio.com. And if Tesla offered an app for that, I would use it, but they only have, you know, TuneIn and Spotify. So the station I listened to was not available on TuneIn. So
yeah. So I guess we will find out.
We'll definitely keep track on that, and if the price
Yeah.
isn't too bad, we'll probably get it done. But if it's over $500, it's not worth $500 to get an FM
Especially
radio.
when we're planning on getting a new S in a year anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely probably not worth it if it's that expensive. But we will see when the time comes. Other big news, kind of a bummer news. Model S's and X's that were imported into China have been recalled. It's like affects 48,000 vehicles. And it is not something that will completely brick them or something that you can't use them at all. Looking at you, BMW, recalling like 16,000 cars and telling people not to drive them. Anyway, this recall affects like the front and rear suspension, so Tesla will just have to replace that for free to all customers. So it is kind of a bummer to see that. I mean, recalls are never great, but it is more about how the company handles it. And since this is so new, we'll kind of have to see how that works out. But the market definitely took wind of that when that came out. So I guess we'll see. But in China, if you have an S or X, I believe it's 2017 and earlier cars. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, they have the date range on it. It's like 2013 to 2017.
Exactly.
Somewhere in the middle of 2017, yeah.
Yep. So if you have one of those, you'll be receiving some mail talking about the recall and how to get your vehicle fixed. Next up, this has kind of been coming up a lot. It comes up like every 6 to 12 months. Even back when the Model 3 was first delivered in 2017, there was coding about air suspension for the Model 3. And now there's been a report about air suspension and even bioweapon defense mode in the code for Model Y. Now, personally, I don't see either of those coming. Elon himself has talked about air suspension and said no. The bioweapon defense mode, obviously, it won't fit in the 3 frunk. The Y frunk, a little bigger, might be able to, but I think those might just be coding artifacts. Because it's been in there since 2017 and we haven't seen anything yet. I don't know, though. Maybe it is now when that will come to Y. I don't think air suspension will come to 3, but maybe the Y, maybe bioweapon defense mode. I know a lot of people want it, but I just don't know if
one thing is they don't
people
really
are willing to pay for it.
They really don't have as much room behind, under the frunk or whatever.
Exactly.
Compared to the S and X. So
Exactly.
if they did, it might be a toned down version, not as big. Because I think the original Model S, it's like 10 times, or is it 10 times bigger or something?
Oh, it's huge.
It's
yeah.
a huge air filter, so it'd be hard to fit those into the 3 and the Y.
Yeah, and so what we have done, because we do not have bioweapon defense mode, is we actually have...
Not on the Y. We have it on the S.
Yeah, but on the Y, and actually I've done it on the 3s as well, is we have the HEPA filters from Abstract Ocean, channel sponsor. We love them. You can actually use the code down below for 15% off your first purchase. But we actually got the HEPA filters from them and installed them on those cars. And it really does help. We even did a video about it, and actually lit some matches by the air intake to see how it worked. And it did a very good job of keeping that smell out of the vehicle. So if you are interested in adding a bioweapon defense mode or something similar, at
least a HEPA
filter with cleaner air into your your 3 or your Y. Wow, a lot of different models to confuse. It's something you can do. So again, that's why it's like, I don't really think it's going to be coming. But I would love to be wrong. I would hate for them to add air suspension to Y, though, because then I'm going to have a Y for sale. So hopefully they don't. Yeah. And then I guess the last bit here is just about our solar update. Before we get to that, though, the alert hasn't popped up, but I see it here. So just want to give Dan a big thank you for the
thanks again.
$10 super chat. There's the alert. Said, hey guys, happy Sunday. Any videos coming up on the winter tires for the Y? As always, thanks for the great content. Well, it is. It's slightly delayed because still waiting.
Aren't the wheels themselves delayed until November, or do you maybe get the first batch?
We're working on some things. But anyway, so here, I'll just share my screen. So for the Model Y, I need some winter wheels and tires. I actually normally just have a separate set for winter and a separate set for summer.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong wheels. Okay, never mind.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at the ones. What's the ETA of the ones you're actually getting? Because isn't it going to be the ones the Uber turbine?
Hopefully
look?
soon.
Yeah.
I can't reveal too much.
I was looking at the
Sorry
ones,
for the secrets, Diego.
Yeah. I was looking at the other ones on the right, which they're delayed, I think, until November.
Yeah. So these technically are also these are T Sportline's new wheel designs, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this 19-inch Model Y TSV Flow Forged for winter, and I'm gonna obviously do matte black. And then for the tires, I'm actually going to do the Pirelli Soto Zero 3s on mine. And these will be like my winter tires. And basically, I'll have my summer set, which are the TSTs from T Sportline. And then I'll have these, which are the TSVs from T Sportline. The summer set's a 20-inch. The winter set is going to be a 19-inch. And those Soto Zero 3s are actually pretty high rated tires.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll begin those in the coming weeks. Today would have been a good day to have them because we had snow all day long and the road is really icy underneath. So it would have been a good day to test that out, but we don't have those on the car yet.
Unfortunately, no. But I do have the TSTs on the car with AS3 pluses on them, which aren't bad kind of all-season tires. They're not great for like super long, cold winters, but those will at least get me through until I get these on the car.
Or ice racing or anything like that.
Or ice racing,
lakes,
for sure.
Lakes, yeah.
So, yeah. Sorry, reading some of the questions in chat. LOL. Chris said, is that a supercharger behind you? Yes, it is. Where did we get it? It was from an old Tesla store. They were throwing it out. Somebody grabbed it and threw it on eBay, and we bought it.
We have a video on it. If you search through our videos, or if Eric throws up the link, you can see we talk about it. We take it apart. You can see it has all the internals of a V2 supercharger.
Yeah. Real quick, I see John said buy the tires locally at a discount tire so you get the warranty on them. So funny you mentioned that.
There's a way you
actually get warranty from T Sportline. I'm just looking it up to see where it is. So here it is. You get the tire protection plan, which is free flat repairs. Hopefully this is, it's on the screen. Free replacement for the first 12 months or 12,000 miles, reimbursement only. Honored at 50,000 dealers in the US and Canada. And they send you out cause I've bought a lot of stuff from T Sportline. And every time I get it, I get like this little like envelope with the tire protection on it. And yeah, I believe it actually does work at Discount Tire too. I believe that's one of the locations.
The cool thing is, a little secret, some of you might know, you can actually get a warranty at Discount Tire on tires that you don't even buy from them.
Yeah.
So basically, when I took delivery of my first Model S back in December 2016, I immediately had like a flat, a leaky tire. And I took it back, I had to pay $300 or something for Tesla. And then it happened again a few weeks later, and I was not happy. So I took it to Discount Tire, and Discount Tire, without even looking at my car, sold me certificates, warranties on the cars. And I don't remember, it wasn't that expensive, but they warranted all of my tires, and I didn't even buy them from them. And then I think later on that year, I had a problem with one, took it back in, and they fixed the flat, did everything for it. And they actually tried ordering a replacement tire for me, but I ended up, I don't remember if that's when I sold the car or something, but I ended up not replacing it through Discount Tire. But they would have replaced the tire, and I didn't even buy the tires from them originally. So,
yeah.
And in California, it's America's Tire. Pretty much the rest of the United States is a Discount Tire. So they have some good deals on their tire warranties, even if you don't buy tires from them.
Yeah, so definitely something you can check out. And we have a $50 off $500 purchase or more.
And I think they have like free
decide to
shipping
buy
on some of
anything.
them now too, though. So you might not be able to use
Yeah.
that, but they have free shipping to like U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, free shipping on all pre-order wheels. So if you get
Okay.
like one of the new
ones,
models
yeah, that
coming
looks
out,
like the new.
it's free shipping, and we love that.
Yep.
John said, "Is that a beer dispenser behind you with the Tesla logo?" I still need to figure out how to like make that into a
Yeah,
dispenser. I actually
turn
think
into
that
a
would be
tap.
pretty dope. See, convenient. See, and now it makes complete sense. Okay, we're gonna look into that. I promise. Let's see.
I think we just got the solar update.
Yeah. Oh, you actually answered Tuology 55. They actually said, "Can I buy a warranty from Discount Tire
Yep,
without
yep,
buying tires?"
Exactly. They
Perfect
might call it tire
timing.
certificates, but they'll definitely
Yep.
sell them to you.
Yep. So let's go ahead and jump into the solar, and then we'll get into questions.
So yeah, just a really quick update for solar. It wasn't the best week. We had some weird weather this week. If Eric pulls up the graph here, you can see that this is like the first week I think since March that we did not have a surplus of solar. Basically, we had a couple good days, Wednesday and Saturday, but also on Wednesday we had a red flag warning. So you can see that we sent a lot to the grid because we had good solar, but we also took a lot from the grid because it was charging up our power walls just in case there was a fire that would knock out the power. Same thing happened again on Saturday. It was a really great day outside, 61 something degrees, but the power walls engaged early on and took a lot of power from the grid. We sent a lot back to the grid, but then today, Sunday, snowed all night long, all day long. So we didn't really, I think we got 600 watt hours today, which is, only like 10 cents worth of power. Not that great of a solar day. So for the day, or for the week overall, we only produced 257 kilowatt hours. Typically, we could produce that in like 2 or 3 days in the summer, but now we're getting into the shorter days in October. Not at the best week. We actually had we didn't have a surplus. We used about 129 more kilowatt hours from the grid than what we sent back to the grid. But still for the year overall, still pretty good. Since March, we've been running a surplus. We're up to over 5,700 kilowatt hours in our surplus. Our electric company lets us roll those over. So now we are starting to draw that. So the 130 that we had in our deficit this week, it actually came down. So we still have like a 5,600 kilowatt hour bank, which is pretty good. So since we can roll that over, if we had like no solar production at all for the next 3 months, we still wouldn't have an electric bill because we have that 5,600 kilowatt hours in our electricity bank. So,
Yep.
And so again, that's not going to last us for 4 months. We need it through February probably. But the good thing is we're still going to have producing solar on snowy days. And even on snowy days, like we did have snow, it was still producing earlier. And it's still not perfect, but you can still get solar even when there's snow.
Yeah, and so like you can kind of see on this graph right here that
For the year, yeah.
through February, we are not able to produce as much as we use at this point.
But our production has gone up since last December, but our usage has gone down. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. This year
February
might be different.
better. But basically, we have that 5,600 kilowatt hour bank to play with, though.
Yeah, and that's just the difference between this to grid and from grid. So hopefully we'll get through winter and either use very little or none at all.
And one last update on our solar and stuff. we still haven't gotten our new transformer. For those of you who've been following the story,
Still have not
we've been
gotten
waiting
that
like
crap.
5 months for a new transformer. It was on the schedule for over almost 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Nothing, not a word. And so we're reaching out to Tesla. They are researching the issue, and hopefully we'll hear back something from them tomorrow. But it's pretty sad when they schedule a new transformer and it never shows up. So
It's sad and frustrating.
yeah. And the thing is we don't need it as much since the temperatures are getting cooler. We were seeing the problem on really hot days. It seems like the transformer was like overheating or something. It was having problems with higher temperatures. Now we're going into the fall, not going to have that issue. So even if they replace the transformer, we're not going to know if that fixes the issue until, like next May or June.
Which is kind of a bummer because, I mean, going through all that transformer stuff and then we have no idea
if it'll actually
work for 5-6 months.
Yeah, we'll see. But they'll get to it. But we should hopefully hear from Tesla this week. Hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah. Rob said, do you run around the house during the winter turning lights off like my dad? I mean, we're always very conscientious about what lights and everything and what we have on and etc.
Yeah, and we have time. We have like smart, like smart things and stuff. So we have stuff on timers to turn the stuff off automatically if we accidentally leave it on.
Yep. Real quick, thank you, James, for the $5 super chat during the solar update. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt the solar update, but I really appreciate the super chat. He said, did you notice the gold Tesla in the paint shop in the photo on the Q3 report? Elon did mention new colors in the past. Thoughts? So here is that gold Tesla that he's referring to. So that gold Tesla is actually what is painted as a base coat under the red and pearl white. So both of those colors have that gold underneath of them. So I don't think that's the new color, but I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it. They used to have, what was that color once called?
The titanium silver.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a gold
It was
champagne
kind of
color. Yeah.
like a champagne color. And I actually really like that.
They had it like in 2015, early 2016.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they brought something like that back, I would be totally in. But I think this car in particular is just the base coats. But definitely good eye. I love
cool
how
thing-
you're really like looking at these images.
Cool thing I
'cause
like about that picture
there's
too.
Easter eggs.
That picture reminds me of Star Wars: A New Hope when they're in the detention cell and saving Princess Leia.
Yep.
It's kind of like those hallways like that. That's what that reminds me of.
We should make a hallway like this in our house.
Yeah.
That would be dope. Let's see. Well, basically that's it
For the news. Yeah.
for the news. So we can take off seatbelt. We're good.
We can relax a little bit.
We can relax a little bit.
Let her hair down.
Let her. I'd do that, but I messed up my neck last night thanks to the dog, so I can't. I'm a little wonky here. Let's see. But kind of to elaborate on your question, Rob, about lights, we do a lot with like smart apps, and we have like the Google Home ecosystem, so we can just like tell it to turn off stuff, or we can do it in our phone. And everything we have is basically LEDs in the house. We try to be just as energy efficient because there's no need to put a light on in a room if no one's in the room.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that. So I mentioned we have smart things, and so a lot of our appliances too are like Samsung as well. And so we can see like if a refrigerator door is left open, or we can tell it does reports and shows you exactly how much it's cost you to run your dishwasher for the past year. And so there's a lot of cool things. But you can also we have a lot of our lights on. That we can turn them on and off via voice, but we also have a timer, or not a timer, but a task or whatever they're called, so that it will automatically turn them off. So if we do go to bed and we forget to turn the light off, it'll shut everything off and we're not wasting power.
Yeah. So we try to be as eco-friendly as possible. There's no reason to waste it if we don't need it. So yeah, we try to just be as good as possible. Let's see. Let me see where we were.
The nice thing too with
questions
like the
and
home
comments.
automation and all this stuff, we've finally gotten some use from our new bathroom heated electric floor.
Oh, yeah.
We put that in over the summer, but it hasn't been cold enough. But today it was cold and it kicked on and it was nice and toasty warm. And so that's helping to use some of that surplus electricity that we're generating.
Yep. Let's see. So, Guy said, any ideas where or when we will be able to purchase Tesla solar walls in New Orleans? Do you mean Powerwalls?
Probably Powerwalls, yeah.
I honestly don't know on that one. That would be best for someone at Tesla to answer. I'm not very familiar with like where they've been rolling out. But I know here in Colorado, Tesla has teamed up with what's that
Like
solar company? Sunrun.
Yep.
And Sunrun is actually installing Powerwalls
So check with Sunrun for one.
You could see if that's something that you have in your area that you could get a Powerwall through them instead.
And we definitely love our Powerwalls. We have 4 of them installed. We originally had 3, got a 4th one added. And those are what help us to offset and really lower our bills, because whenever we do take power from the grid, we only take it at night when it's cheapest. And then we send all of our solar back during the day, and then we power our house from the Powerwalls. And the cool thing is it's kind of like a little hack or whatever, but when what's it called? When the storm watch engages. I don't necessarily want to be pulling power from the grid during peak times or part peak times. So what we do is we will turn off storm watch during part peak and peak, and then that way the Powerwalls have already been charged up overnight, and we can't send that power from the Powerwalls back to the grid. We can send 100% of our electrical production, our solar production, back to the grid, and it just helps really bump up our production. And again, we only pay the lowest rates because we only ever take from the grid at night.
Yeah, and so kind of on that, Mace, welcome back, Mace. Glad to have you. Said, I want the Powerwalls to be self-powered during peak and shoulder and time-based during off-peak.
Yeah.
So far, I've been changing the settings twice a day.
Yeah, we
played around with that too.
For now, what we do is we have ours set to like time-based control, and we do the balanced mode. It would be nice if there was a little more control. We would prefer if there was like a timed self-powered mode, but there isn't. So to get around that, we set it to the time-based mode, and we set ours to be pretty much powered like about 22 hours a day. Our Powerwalls power the house. So there's only like a 2-hour period in the middle of the night from like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. when we actually pull power from the grid. The rest of the house can pull from the grid if necessary anytime throughout the day, but 99% of the time we're able to power the house via solar or the Powerwalls. But it definitely would be nice if they had some additional features in the software. Like I said, for the Stormwatch, there's no way to prevent it from charging those up during peak times. And if you have some really expensive power, that can really cost you, it could cost you maybe $20, depending on how many Powerwalls you have, it would cost us like over $20 to charge those Powerwalls all up during peak, whereas we could charge them up for, $7 if we did it overnight.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice if they had a way to like avoid that or get a confirmation. So they're always increasing the capabilities. We got another firmware like 1.50.1 came out this week. Not a lot of new functionality. I don't think there's any new functionality, but they're always tweaking it just like they do with the software on the cars. So hopefully they'll have some more flexibility in the future. But there are some apps, some third-party apps where you can kind of control your Powerwall so you don't have to schedule it manually like that. But we should maybe look into those, maybe do a video on those one day.
It would be nice if Tesla had like an advanced section where you could really go into it a lot more. Got another $5 super chat. Thank you very much, John. Said, can you put Powerwalls in your garage if your bedroom's above the garage?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know that when we first got our Powerwalls installed, they actually didn't want us to install them on walls that were like interior, that would
back up to the
living
house.
Space up against the house, and they wanted them on outer walls, and that was just because of fan noise. But that would be a good question, but that could probably depend on local code as well. So that I don't know. I'll have to look into that, because I could see that there shouldn't be a fire issue or fire concern, but that would be something I'm sure that some jurisdictions would have restrictions on that. But I don't know of anyone like that for us.
Yeah, that is a very good question. I didn't even think of that. I don't think there would be an issue.
And they're very quiet. So there might be the fire concern. I know in some states they have to build like a special mount for their Powerwalls, or they're not allowed to put them inside, or they're not allowed to put them there's all kinds of restrictions in certain states. They have to. I won't go into them all. But luckily ours was pretty flexible. We just put them on the wall.
Yeah.
And since they are on the outer wall, we don't hear anything. Even if we are out there, the only time they would make any noise if it's a really, really sunny day and they're being charged fully, or if the storm watch kicks in and they're charging at full power. There's a little fan noise, but you can't hear it unless you're standing just within a couple feet of them.
Exactly. It's very, very my computers right here. Those fans are louder than the Powerwall fans. Simo said, do you think Tesla will adopt the CCS standard in North America as they do in Europe? I mean, that would open up a lot, but at the same point, there are some adapters. It would be nice based on what's being installed, not going to lie.
Yeah, because definitely, they're totally, expanding the Supercharger network. It's in like 48 states so far. They still
Yeah.
have a couple, Alaska and Hawaii. But you can pretty much get around the United States with what they have. But there are still some places if you want to get off the Supercharger network where CCS would be nice. Right now, Electrify America they're expanding their network as well. But most of those places, when they do have them, they only have like one CHAdeMO plug for every like 3 or 4 CCS. And so if somebody else, like a Nissan Leaf, is already using that CHAdeMO, then you're going to have to sit there and wait for them to finish
Yeah.
before you can use it. So that's where a CCS would be useful.
Yeah.
Only thing is, we have seen that for the most part, it looks like Electrify America is more expensive than the Superchargers.
If they're even on.
Again, it depends on what part of the country and how much power costs for you. And they do have some plans where you can pay for a subscription. But we would definitely be interested in CCS, especially if it was an adapter, kind of like what they have in Europe, where even for older cars, you could pay a couple $100. They would upgrade your wiring and then just give you a little adapter, similar to the J1772 adapter. You just plug it in and be able to use those CCS chargers.
Yep. Real quick, Chris, thank you for the $5 super chat. Said, for a video turning the Supercharger into a cocktail dispenser. I mean, it's a great idea. I'm going to have to figure this one out, I think. We're going to have to figure this out. I'm on it. I've already got ideas going through my head. Let's see. Mark Plot says, are Tesla mega chargers coming? Definitely. But I think they're going to be used for the semis.
Yeah, and we still might see though like a V4 supercharger, because basically V2 supercharger, which is kind of what this is, could do up. Originally when they came out, V1 was like 90 kilowatts, and then they hit like 120 on V2, and then they eventually made it so V2 could get up to about 150 in if they upgraded the equipment. But V3 up to 250 kilowatts. We're thinking there still might be some room where the V4 maybe it can give the 350, kind of like some of the Electrify America ones. So we'll see, but that's still going to be way below, I think, the mega chargers or whatever that the semis will have.
Exactly.
Still no news on that. We were hoping for some news on that, but I think with the Cybertruck and the next gen Roadster and the Plaid Model S, they're going to probably announce some charging, hopefully faster than 250 kilowatts.
Yep. I see a lot in chat about Google versus Alexa. We have had both. We settled with Google just because of some of the other things. Like, we just preferred it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, both pretty much can do very similar stuff. So
and these days, almost everything works with both.
Yeah.
So you can go back and forth, whatever you want. But I know that we've got all Google, but I know that my mom's got all Alexa. So it's, whatever floats your boat.
Yep. John said, last year I had oil leaking from a transformer on my Excel and replaced it the next day.
Yeah,
I wish we had that good service.
Well, the thing is, remember, we had a derecho or whatever, a big windstorm back in June. It blew down like almost all the power lines in our neighborhood, and a lot of the transformers went out, and there was a really nasty oil smell. I did not realize there was oil in those, but they came out, they had those all fixed the next day, but then they had like a cleanup crew, kind of like a little hazmat guys. They were there for like a week cleaning up the oil from all those transformers. Yeesh. And the funny thing, they replaced all those transformers, everyone in the neighborhood except for the one that serves our house that has problems. So, yeah.
Figured. Chagog said, in full self-driving, does it use regen braking or just brakes? So we don't have the beta yet, but I would assume it uses both.
Yeah, same as regular autopilot.
Yeah,
whenever
exactly.
you're on Navigate on autopilot, regular autopilot, it should be able to use regen.
It use regen as much as possible.
Then it will use the actual physical brakes.
Exactly. Doug with an A+ question. It says, what is your favorite candy? So lately I'm on a root beer candy kick.
Oh, yeah.
So like the little root beer barrels.
Root beer barrels, yes.
I think I bought 10 pounds from Amazon a while back, and then I just bought another like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Yeah, so we have those a lot. We used to like those cinnamon mints that we would get at Cafe Rio.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
Our Cafe Rio closed down. They've been closed since March, so we haven't been back. So that's why we're on the root beer barrels.
What about the butter rum lifesavers?
Oh, those are delicious as well. But, I always like chocolate, too. Lately, I've been having some of those big Kit Kats. Those are pretty good.
Yes. I have not had any of those. I will have to have one of those for dinner. Let's see. Seema said, are we going to see a heated steering wheel for the Model Y? Great question. I would love to see it for Y and 3. I really haven't seen anything that leads me to believe they're going to. I think this day and age it would be kind of necessary, but I don't know. Sorry, super chat just popped up. Thank you, John, for another $2.
Thanks again.
Said, check link and chat out roof blow off garage. Where is this?
I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one either.
Oh, the links don't come through. If you just paste a link, we can't see it.
So YouTube automatically like blocks some links.
Yeah.
So try just emailing it to me, just like admin@teslainventory.com, and I'll check it out. Thank you though for the $2 super chat, John. Let's see. Jeffrey said, "Do you feel you've been more energy conscious since you've gone solar?" I mean, we were to begin with.
I think we've always been energy conscious.
But I think we did up it a little bit because we're trying to like gamify it. Like, how efficient can we be?
Yeah, let me see.
And like, how long can we go off the grid? So, we're trying to like gamify it to a way.
Let me send this to you really quick.
Okay. He's sending me something. I'll go to the next question while you send that. Tesla should, from Matthew, said Tesla should allow their app to add other renewable energy sources like wind or hydro so you can see all your energy production.
We would love for that, yes.
Love it. Great idea. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
We have a lot. So whenever we don't have solar, we have wind. We even have wind when we have solar. So we live kind of on the top of a hill. We have wind almost all the time. And I'm sure we would be able to power a house almost nonstop if they would have support. And whether it's a wind turbine or we've seen some European country has just like a little like pillar that just kind of vibrates, and so it doesn't make any noise, doesn't have any moving pieces, and that would be great if Tesla would get into that. I just sent this quick image to Eric, and it basically
don't mind the screenshot on the bottom.
It's just a quick screenshot, but basically I track our energy usage like nonstop. So I noticed, so you can see exactly how much we're using every hour of the day, and you can see our solar was really poor today. You can see that little tiny bit of yellow. That's our solar production today.
Beep, that little stuff right there.
The panels were covered with snow, so that's why we didn't have much. But it's nice we got a little bit. But you can see, I can tell like whenever somebody's doing laundry is what one of those, like if the dryer runs.
These are dryer.
Or like when my car, that's Scott's car on the left, when Scott's car was charging overnight. And so it's like, we were very focused. Normally I can see we're using between like 600 watts and at about 1 kilowatt throughout the day, but we can always tell when something like the dishwasher coming on or the electric dryer, or we're charging a car or the Powerwalls. So we are very conscious of that, and again, we try to reduce everything. Like you said, everything is LED.
Yeah, we do try our hardest. Now there's some things that are not as easy to. These computers are quite big. They're power hungry. Yeah. We'll say that.
It's funny because I can see actually when Eric's doing video, he's like crunching, doing video, rendering. It almost doubles the household usage because our house uses such little power that just him turning on his computer and crunching the video almost doubles it to like 1.7 or 2 kilowatts.
So you're welcome.
So yeah.
But the great thing is we're making all these videos from solar power.
Yeah, all solar.
So that's kind of cool to see.
So we've been going, as he showed on those, if you go to that yearly graph or whatever, that we were up to like 24 megawatts, I think, so far for the year. And if we go back, let me just, while you're pulling that up.
Got it.
So lifetime, so we've had solar for just over 2 years. I'm connecting to Tesla. Sometimes it's slower than others to get the numbers. But so since lifetime, we've generated over 52,000 kilowatt hours, so 52 megawatt hours of power, and we've used 54. So right now we are slight deficit. We've used 2,000 more than we've generated, but we didn't have we didn't have enough solar the first year. So we're going to catch up. I think maybe March, April, sometime, hopefully next spring, we might be plus and have a surplus over a 2-year period. We will now be in the green or whatever, in the not in the deficit anymore. But
yeah,
for the year though, for this year, been a great year.
Yep. Seema said, does full self-driving beta solve phantom braking? Has that been reported? Yes. From the people I've talked to, they have said phantom braking is no longer. Let's see. Mark Plot, does full self-driving beta do in the snow? I don't know. I wish I had it to check that out. I would say probably not.
Not yet. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Probably not yet. I have heard, though, that some people have been testing it out on streets that did not have street lines, even like one-lane roads, one way with cars parked on the side, and it was still working. So it doesn't necessarily need lines, and it can tell when there's an area flat that, that's the driving surface. But, I wouldn't trust it on snow just yet.
Yeah. Kevin said, any plans for doing a podcast best practices video for listening in a Tesla? I've heard mixed opinions about using Spotify or TuneIn, and Bluetooth isn't super convenient. So this is going to sound weird. I do listen to a decent amount of podcasts on Spotify. I have Spotify Premium. I love it. Now I've signed in to my car on Spotify, but I almost always still listen to my podcasts via Bluetooth on my phone. Rationale, it's just easy for me to get to work. My phone disconnects. It stops playing the podcast. I get into my office. I can start playing it right where I left off, which I know you can still do if I pause the Spotify in the car and then leave and then turn it on again when I get into my office. But I just find it to be a little easier that way.
We should look
I don't know, though. I've had a lot of people say
we should look into that,
yeah.
because even if we just exported your same YouTube videos and just created a podcast of those, I think people, they might not miss, but some people might be interested in what we talk about. We'll see. Or at least maybe our live streams, maybe that.
Yeah. Let's see. Guy said it's been a while since game has been added or an infotainment update tweak. Anything in mind? I mean, version 11 has been floating around.
That it's coming. The rumors.
Rumors of it being around the corner, which I kind of think it will align more with the FSD beta rolling out.
That's
more,
probably the biggest feature. Yes.
Mainstream. But I mean, games, I'm sure they're working on something. Tesla's always got something up their sleeve. So, yeah.
Who knows, another Easter egg. We haven't seen a new Easter egg in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while for an Easter egg, so hopefully soon. Let's see. Sorry, trying to go through, and we answered a lot of these questions. Blackhouse says, finally bought a Tesla, a Model Y. Congratulations. Should get it by the end of December. It's replacing my 2011 Nissan Leaf. Got FSD and can't wait for a road trip. Thanks for all the great information.
I think he's going to be so happy, because compared to
choice.
Compared to like a Nissan, or it's going to be it'll blow you away. But the good thing is you already had, a nice car. Now you're going to have an even better one.
Yeah, and you already kind of know the layout of electric and the gist of it. But you're going to love the Y.
Yeah,
it is so good.
And so much more range on the battery. You won't have range anxiety, I don't think.
Exactly. Blackhouse also said you could easily put a corny keg dispenser in your supercharger. Is there beer, cider, root beer, soda? Root beer would be a good idea.
We can make our own root beer. We should do that one of these days.
Okay, we're going to have to make our own root beer. Here we go. Let's see. Greg said he thinks that V3 will scale and upgrade to 350 kilowatts. We've thought about that.
I was thinking 350. It seems like when somebody did the numbers, they were trying to figure out, like with the Cybertruck and stuff, they were thinking 350. So it'd be interesting. But Elon did have that tweet a while back, though, that when Audi mentioned like having 350 kilowatt charging.
Said it's child's play.
He said it was child's play or child's toy. So I was like, that would lead me to believe that Tesla had something even higher than that. I hope he was meaning for regular vehicles and not just for the mega chargers on the semi. Yeah.
So I mean, they definitely are gonna have something crazy on the semi, and hopefully future vehicles could use that.
The cool thing is, as we saw on like Battery Day last month, is some of the graphs were showing, 20-minute charge, but then they showed seems like with the new batteries, they might be able to get a charge in just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And so that's something,
especially with the tabless design,
they haven't talked about, but that was on one of the graphs. And if they could bring it down to like 10 minutes for a full charge or an 80% charge, that would be amazing.
Yeah. John said, when you finally get fed up, shoot a hole in the transformer. It'll be changed in a day, I bet. Yeah, trust us.
We've had like I said, we get a lot of wind.
Going into it,
we've been hoping that the wind would blow over that last pole, because it blew over all the other ones, and we just wish it would blow over the one that serves our house. But haven't been that lucky yet.
Yeah. Diego says, what does a car need to have a bioweapon defense mode? Is it more than just a filter? I saw rumors about the Y. I mean, basically, it's just the housing for the filter and the filter itself.
And the software.
And the software. Software is the easy part. But having that filter integrated and having a place to put it, that's I think the tricky feat, that even with the heat pump and everything, I don't think they can cram it under the hood.
Yeah. And like Eric said, the software should be easy. Basically, it just runs the fan on like full speed,
yeah.
and that just allows to create like is it a positive pressure or something? So basically, it just
Positive, yeah.
pushes all the air so that stuff can't get in, the gases or
Yeah, so
smokes
this
and
is kind of
stuff
like
can't
my
get in.
wheelhouse because I work in biotech. Yay. So HEPA filters, the way it works, especially in relation to the Tesla, is it overpressurizes. So cars are not airtight. It just isn't a thing. So what the bioweapon defense mode does is it cranks your fan speed all the way up to 10 or 11. I don't remember.
Yeah, at
what
one time it
now.
was 11, but I think it's maybe 10 now. But
okay,
it's on
so now it's
full.
10.
It's the highest it gets.
But it's the highest it gets, and then it overpressurizes the cabin with the incoming air going through that HEPA so that it can push anything out in any of those air gaps. It's pushing air out so air can't come in. That's kind of where like the whole bioweapon defense mode thing comes from. But really, it's just like getting a filter that size to be able to scrub air enough for a car that size. That's going to be a tricky thing to do in that frunk.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Rob Cosson is saying he was surprised to see the newest Y
Yeah.
has double pane door glass. I didn't know. Does the Y have it? I know that
I
we've
saw
heard it on
an
the
image.
3, so
Yeah.
the Y has it now as well?
Yep,
Or will
saw
be
an
now?
image. It is
Okay.
still not in the parts catalog, but I did
Not
see
for
an
the
image.
Y. I've seen it in the parts catalog for the 3, but that's cool. That should make the sound deadening, sound dampening a little better. And
Yeah.
it's kind of bad for people missed out. Then the thing is, if your window ever breaks, they should be able to put in the new parts.
Yep.
But it'll be nice. It'll be cool. I wouldn't want to go and have broken windows or pay to replace them, but it's nice that they are adding that now.
Yep. Matthew Evans said cooled seats. I remember Tesla filing a patent for liquid heated and cooled seats.
Ooh, I haven't seen that.
I think that was like, what was that, like 2016 or 2017, I believe? It was a long time ago, I think. Still haven't seen anything on that. So yeah, I mean, that could be something they just filed to make sure if they wanted to use that for a future product, they could. But I do think heated and cooled seats for the higher end variants like S and X definitely should be there. Their cooled seats kind of sucked, no pun intended. So they got rid of them. But yeah, it would be nice. Hockey Day said, rumor is the Model 3 now has a heated steering wheel, just no way to turn it on. I'll see if anyone has a new vehicle, Model 3, that in my area that I know of, and I'll see if I can pop that wheel off and actually see.
Is there? Yeah, I can't remember because if we use the FLIR on one, you can't really see the heating elements unless it's
on.
turned on.
Yeah, it's got to be on, unfortunately. But we will see. Adnan said, what happened to the Tesla inventory website? Well, basically Tesla decided to upgrade their own website to parity with ours.
Yeah,
and then they just made it really difficult for third-party sites to
It wasn't
get that
worth
data.
it wasn't worth our time. And basically,
Yeah.
we started the Tesla inventory website back in like early 2016 when Tesla's website wasn't that great on searching for their used inventory and their CPO program. All you could really search on was like whether it was all-wheel drive or not, the battery size, the location, and the color. Very few filters. And we found that we could pull in their inventory and we could slice it and dice it, put it in our own database, and you could search on any option code that had ever been added. So there's multiple versions of like a steering wheel, multiple versions of seats, multiple versions of the panoramic roof on the Model S.
Pretty much everything,
And so
yeah.
we were able to tell you, you could find if there were 1,500 cars listed, you could click on a few different filters that only we had, and you could take it from 1,500 cars down to 5. But over the years, Tesla, they upgraded their website, and by end of 2018, they had added a lot of that functionality, so you can search on a lot of that stuff now. And so, they also kept changing their website, and it was weird. It's like a different developer or a different group of developers took over, and they would totally throw out the old code and do something new. And we were having to totally redo our site every few months. It was just a lot of time. So since they upgraded their site and added all those filters, we felt we didn't really need to support it anymore.
But they also have made it very difficult for third party to access the data. So
They've tried to luck down, and just like we've seen with some of the other Tesla apps and stuff, every once in a while they do something that totally loses connectivity with the APIs and stuff, and all these other sites and apps break. So I could see it with them trying to become more security conscious, blocking all these other surfaces. It's a possibility.
okay, we are 25 minutes behind on questions, so we're going to speed round this. Andrew said, in an old home, what do you think is the best investment for energy savings? Windows, insulation, etc. Oh my God, that is such a hard question.
Yeah. I think both of those are good. I think
Windows and insulation are probably your top two.
Insulation is maybe going to be cheaper, I would guess. I would think, but it depends on how your house is built and whether they can spray it in or, because if you don't have insulation already, I hopefully wouldn't have to tear down the walls. But I don't know. But Windows is definitely good. We appreciate like our energy efficient windows.
Yep. Michael said, have you ever had concerns of having to evacuate due to fires? Any special considerations evacuating with an EV? Luckily, we have not. Colorado has just had a nightmare of a 2020, as has the whole world, let's be real. But we haven't had to. Any special considerations?
I would say just keep your car charged at least 50 to 90%, and then you'll be ready to go. And with the supercharger coverage, you'll be able to get far enough away from any of the fire zones that if your car's not fully charged, you'll be able to get away and then charge at a supercharger.
Yup. Steve said, he answered Andrew and said, you'll save most money by getting insulation if your HVAC is old and inefficient. Next biggest power consumption is your water heater, then follows cooking appliances. Very helpful information. Thank you, Steve. Really appreciate that. Oh, it just jumped. I hate it when it does that. Simo said, would Tesla license their charging tech, allowing other BEV from another company to use their supercharger network? They could charge those cars 5 to 10% more to use superchargers. So Elon has straight up said he will let anyone use it if they help build out the network and would take some responsibility. Now, no car manufacturer has taken him up on that. For the biggest reason, I think, is no one wants to admit Tesla was right.
They did it right, and they did it right years ago.
Exactly.
They've planned from the beginning, and no other car manufacturer has built their own network. Electrify America does exist, but Volkswagen and Group didn't build that because they wanted to. They built it because of the Dieselgate lawsuit, and it doesn't just belong to Volkswagen. And so Tesla did it right. And like Eric said, any other manufacturer can use the supercharger network if they agree to join it and pay it. But they also have to have cars that will be capable of doing it. You can't have a little car that has like a 20 kilowatt hour battery. It's got to be beefy enough and be able to handle supercharger speeds.
Yep. Razor Viper said it's their birthday in 2 days. Congratulations. Happy birthday. The Biker Bug just bought a Model Y. Sounds like a sweet spec for your company. Congratulations. Hopefully you are enjoying that as well as your accessories. We'd love to see it. John Clark said, is your furnace gas or electric? I'm thinking of converting from propane to electric. Solar being installed this month. Congrats on the solar. Our furnace is gas.
Well, actually, we don't have a furnace. We have a boiler.
Well, we have boiler.
Hot water heat. And and we've looked into doing a heat pump. It's the ones we've looked at don't have enough capacity to handle the hot water heat as well as for the whole house as well as our hot water needs. So we need to get some quotes on that, but we haven't seen anything that would be good enough to cover all of our usage.
Yep. Biker Bug was talking about a white carbon fiber console wrap in the red instrument stock covers. So that's a great thing. Like Abstract Ocean on their wraps, there are so many cool options to help make your Tesla your own. So definitely have fun with it. That'd be the biggest thing I can suggest. And if you find a wrap that you want on your center console that they don't offer, let them know, because I know they've done some one-offs before. Might be possible. Let's see. Steve said, I wish Tesla had not gone the way of making the battery as part of the battery. They could have sold cars for less by allowing module replaceable rented batteries upgraded without buying a new car. So I think the biggest reason for making the battery part of the car is reduction in weight, because it can now be used as a structural component. So rather than having two structures, they can go down to one. And just like the ease of manufacturing, which hopefully should allow for cheaper prices. That'd be my guess. But I still have a concern with it too, is what if we get into an accident with it? Is it just immediately going to be a write-off?
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
There's a lot of what ifs that we just don't know the answers to quite yet. But that is a great thought.
See, Mr. DSN is asking how many miles of range you could add on a Model Y in 4 hours. That depends, but he does say best case. So best case, if you're charging at home, would be at 48 amps, 240 volts. You can charge at about 40 miles an hour, so I'd say about 160 miles in those 4 hours. And typically, you're not going to your battery's not going to be totally empty every night. If you're just doing a commute, hopefully you don't have to drive 160 miles. But typically our cars only charge about an hour per night per car for those that do still get driven. My car, I don't drive that much anymore because I work from home, and so my car only has to top off, like every few days. But 4 hours is pretty good. So if you came home with like almost totally drained battery, you would have no problem at 48 amps being able to charge. But for the 48 amps with a Model Y, that would require you to have a Tesla wall connector. If you just use the included mobile connector that comes with the car, you'd have to get like a 1450 or 650 plug adapter. And then those are actually only limited to 32 amps. So you're only going to be able to get about 27 miles an hour, I believe, on the built-in, or the universal mobile connector that comes with the Model Y. So again, if you want to get that best you can get at home, you're going to need a wall connector. Now they do have a 3rd generation wall connector that they put out a while back. It's having some problems for some people with overheating, but I'm sure Tesla will get that fixed eventually. We still have generation 2 wall connectors, and that's what we use to charge all of our Teslas.
Yep. John sent the email about it, so I'll check that out, John. Rob said, can HEPA filter restrict airflow too much, cause damage to the vehicle components? So the HEPA filters for the Model 3 and Y, they do not restrict airflow too much, just because they are still the same size filter. Now, one thing you wouldn't want to do, since there are like a double stack of filters in the Model 3 and Y, you wouldn't want to like replace one of them with something solid. That could potentially hurt it, but it shouldn't affect it at all. I haven't noticed any issue with any of mine, and I've had them on all of it.
So a couple people are talking about the Cybertruck, and they can't see it on the website. Can you just show them really quick?
It
is still available to pre-order on the website. It's just not, since it's not a car that's actively being sold, it's not being produced, you have to click around in a couple places.
So up top, they changed it so they have the sexy lineup with solar roof, then solar panels. And then on the right side, you have the 3 lines. If you click on that, you can see your Cybertruck, your Roadster, your Semi, your Powerwalls. If you are looking for commercial solar, and a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
So you can just click on Cybertruck and get it right through there.
And if you're on mobile, you won't even see those, I think, again. Then there's like a more link, and then you have to click more. Then you'll see those other models. So they kind of hit it, but those cars aren't actively being produced, so that's why they don't have them. Once they start selling the, building the Cybertruck, I'm sure it's going to be front page. You're gonna see it.
John, thank you for another $5 super chat. Really appreciate that. Said, when full self-driving comes out, do you think insurance companies are going to raise the rates on EVs?
Yikes.
I do.
I hope not.
I would hope they lower it, especially with the data that Tesla has, is anyone who's been driving on autopilot, I believe they said it's 10 times less to get into an accident now. So full self-driving, I would hope, fingers crossed, they lower it.
I suppose.
Now, I would still like to do Tesla insurance.
Yeah.
Hopefully they roll that out to Colorado soon and I can jump on that. But for now, I can't. So hopefully they wouldn't.
I could see, though, insurance companies might be a little hesitant at first. Maybe rates will go up initially, but then once they do start saying, hey, now that we're not having the human factor in there and the cars are doing everything correctly, once the software is optimized, maybe they will lower the rates eventually. Cross my fingers.
True. And then Gregory said, have you seen a range increase on your Model Y performance after the latest update? My Model Y didn't get any range increase after the last 20.40.8. I did not.
Yeah. I don't think we've checked the Y yet, or the 3. I know the Y. We didn't notice
the Y,
anything.
yeah.
Some people did say that
I
their
did just
Y
get it
got
on the 3.
I don't, but your 3 is old enough that I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't have anything.
So no. Unfortunately not yet.
It still has like over 300 something miles range, right? Or close to it.
Yeah,
it's
very
still
close.
pretty good. But yeah, always would be nice to have a range increase.
Diego said, I find my Y to be super quiet. What about you guys? Is your Model 3 or S quieter? In terms of being inside while driving?
I would guess
I would definitely say the S, because the Model 3... So it's a race spec car. So we need to think about that. It's not... I haven't been into a non-modded Model 3 in a while.
Upgrades on his.
But the suspension is basically dropped as low as we can take it. I have super beefy wide tires.
Yeah.
I have different camber and everything. So mine is more loud. And actually, I will say this, though. With the interior put in the car, it's actually still pretty quiet. Now, when you remove the interior, you can really hear like little pieces of gravel being thrown up in the wheel wells and stuff like that. But I think S and Y and even X, for that matter, would be the same if I did that in those. Let's see. Biker Bug said he is just waiting for the car to arrive in Florida. It's going to be a long wait, but I assure you it is definitely worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I see Tony just did a super chat. I don't know if you noticed that.
Tony, thank you for the $5 super chat.
No questions, but thanks
no
for the super
question.
chat.
If you have something, definitely put it down there and we'll check it out. But I really appreciate the $5.
See, Jeff was asking if we ever have to reboot our Teslas. He bought a Model Y in Superior, Colorado, early September, and haven't rebooted it. And not sure if he should. I was like, we don't typically just reboot it. The only time is if you see a problem.
So I had an issue last week. For some reason, I was... Here we go with the Spotify thing. I was trying to listen to the Spotify from my phone to the car, and it wouldn't go to the next song when I was doing the steering wheel, but it also wouldn't do it through my phone when I was pressing it there. So I ended up restarting my phone and restarting the car. One of the two, I don't know which one it was. I just was like, I'll just do it, fixed it. But I don't think I have really had to do the Y either.
Yeah. Especially with MCU2.
I can't recall.
Versus MCU1, which is basically cars that were built before like March of 2018. Those are a different processor, different, older software, older cars. But those required a little more rebooting. But again, it's not something we do regularly. It's just like if we see something that's not working like we think it should, we'll try a reboot. But I can't remember last time I had to reboot the S since I got the MCU2 upgrade.
Yeah, I don't think we've had to do it on the Y like at all. Let's see. Brian said if I ordered a Model Y now, can I delay pickup until January or February?
They don't really offer that anymore. It used to be when you bought a Tesla back in 2016, when you were going to choose like where you wanted to take delivery, there was a little drop down and you could choose, I want it, in January or February or March. And at one time it went out like 6 months, and I
you could even add time onto that.
Yeah, or at the time too, you could talk with your owner advisor and say, hey, I don't need it right away. Now they don't really have that. I think they're trying to push out those cars as fast as possible. So if you're not ready to take delivery, just wait at least until the beginning of the quarter, because almost every quarter they push as many deliveries as possible. So if you want it in like March of next year, you can maybe order it in January, but don't be surprised if they call you up in January. You can maybe delay it, but they're going to try to get that out there by March of that quarter.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I don't know how you could go about doing that, if they would even allow it.
And to follow up, Terry Thompson's talking about, when I was talking about charging a few minutes ago, the number I gave maybe wasn't 100% accurate, because he said that he got a software update and now his car is charging at 32 miles an hour, and that's basically because they're changing the fixed number that they say, like how many miles you can get per kilowatt hour. And so when they increase the efficiency via software and stuff, that changes the displayed miles you're actually getting. And again, you're still getting like the same kilowatts going into the car and the same volts and amps multiply out, you get the kilowatts. And so you're still charging at like either 48 amps or 32 or whatever, but it appears that you're getting more miles just because the battery is capable of potentially giving you that additional range.
Yep. Aaron said just picked up a 2020S last week. Congratulations. And was wondering what % of tint do you recommend for a car that is black with a white interior? One that isn't super dark but not super light. So anything with a white interior, I get a darker tint because it's not going to look as dark because that white interior is so reflective and bright. So I think mine are like 20 or 15. I think it's dark. But you can still see in it. That's the thing with the white interior. So I would definitely try to do a dark ceramic tint.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go. I don't know where you left off, but Robert Rogers was saying his friend bought a Model S this summer. It says he got free supercharging. He's gonna buy a Model S this week, and they say they don't do that anymore. Yeah, they haven't really offered free supercharging regularly since about 2017. So if your friend bought one, I would guess that he's maybe bought an older car, like a 2016. There were some, any car that was purchased way back then would have like free supercharging for life. Then in 2017 they had free supercharging, but it wouldn't transfer to the new owner. There were a couple other sales they had since then where they would throw it in at the end of the quarter, but we haven't seen that on the Model S in a while. So
Yeah.
chances are you're not going to get free supercharging in the S. The way you can do it is if you have a referral code, then you could share that. And if somebody uses your referral code, then each of you gets 1,000 miles of free supercharging. And if you can keep using your referral code, then conceivably you could keep getting those 1,000 free miles, and then you wouldn't have to pay supercharging that way.
I see Tony with the $5 super chat commented, my Model Y got a 10-mile range increase.
Cool.
Oh, where did mine go?
I wonder what their delivery date is. They might have gotten theirs more recently. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it was built in July, August, or September. Maybe there's a slightly different chemistry, because we do know they changed the chemistry like in September. And so if they
Yeah.
have a brand new one and yours is like 4 months old, then maybe that's why we didn't get the range increase.
Yeah. And then Gabriel said, how do you sign into YouTube on your Tesla? My Model 3 won't let me.
We should do a video on that, because sometimes we have problems on that too. There's ways you can go to other sites.
Signing into Google will be tough.
Yeah, so we should do a video on how to do that and show it, because we have that problem sometimes too. One thing you have to be aware of though is if you do ever get signed in with Google, then if somebody else is in your car, they could conceivably go to like your Gmail account or any of your other Google services, and then if you don't log out, they would have access to all that, not just your YouTube.
Yeah.
But that would be really nice to have, because sometimes we're supercharging and we want to continue with some suggested videos that are on our account, and we get all these, the default ones, suggested ones are just not that great. So it'd be nice to have our own.
Definitely. John said, I saw voice recognition on a Model 3 asking to open the glove box, and it opens. I tried it on my Model Y, and it doesn't. Interesting. I'll have to try that on both of the 3 and the Y direct and see what happens, because I would expect it to work on both.
I'm sure it will come eventually if it's not there yet, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
They haven't. It's weird because you think that stuff like that should just work because it's the same thing and almost the same car, but there's probably just an if statement that says if it's a Model 3, do it, and they haven't added that code in there for the Y yet.
Yeah. Steve said, I haven't seen any updated laws regarding allowance for cameras versus rear or side mirrors. The potential for my future Cybertruck being forced to have side mirrors gives me the cold sweats. I agree, because looking at this right here, it's too sleek and beautiful as is. I don't want side mirrors on that.
Yeah, I wish that too. If there was some laws saying, well, you have to have some backup, it would be nice if they had cameras, but that maybe in the front there were a little pair of mirrors that you could snap on. Kind of like for people who tow stuff and they can add on a mirror. It'd be nice if you could use mirrors or cameras by default, but if there's ever a problem with those, you could throw on a side mirror. But that's wishful thinking.
Yeah, I know, right? Chelsea said, do they actually do the drawings for the referrals? Each car referral also gives you a chance to win a Model Y monthly or Roadster car quarterly.
Yep.
So they do, and there have actually been a few winners that have been announced. Now, Tesla does not come out and say who the winners are, but the winners are free to come out and come forward and say that we won. So we've seen a few. I believe one was in Asia.
One was
and
in
one was
Canada.
a couple in, I think.
At least a couple have been in Canada.
Yeah, I think one was a couple in California. So there've definitely been winners. It's just a matter of if they came forward or
and
not.
it's amongst the entire world.
Yes.
So it's like there's any potential person who, and it's not just current sales, it's anybody who has a referral code for the past, since they started the referral program. So, and it's been used. So, chances of winning aren't that great unless you have a lot of referrals.
Yeah.
But you only need one referral. We've seen people have had one referral and they've won a car.
Yeah, exactly. That's
so
all
it is
you
possible.
need.
It is possible.
Tony, thank you for the $5 super chat. Said, I use YouTube TV for cable and I log into Google through YouTube, and that allows me to watch cable TV in my car.
Cool.
Freaking awesome. That is. Now, how do you log in? Do you do two-factor authentication or like... Because that's the thing that I've noticed is my Google account, I have a lot of extra security on it, and I can't log into Google on my Tesla.
It's not easy.
Yeah, not easy. And then John with a $2 super chat said, when are you guys going to come out with a logo t-shirt?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about
that
merch.
for a while. We should just do it.
And I've had a lot of people asking about merch.
But we do have a few ideas of a few things that hopefully we'll get that wrapped up by the end of the year. We'll have a few items available at least.
Yeah. Jeffrey actually made a good comment. Since it's made of steel, they could just do magnetic mirrors on the Cybertruck.
But is stainless steel magnetic? I don't know, because
that's a good question.
I know that our refrigerator is stainless steel, or at least stainless steel, but magnets won't stick to it. But I think there are some
Stainless steel.
Yeah, it depends on what kind it is, I guess. But that's good.
Yeah. Good to know. Let's see. I think I missed one or two. Let me find those real quick.
Sydney just said, stainless steel isn't magnetic, so that's what I was thinking.
Well, crap.
But if there's some part of the frame behind there, then they could have a little behind the.
I don't know. There's ways we could do it. Let's see. Someone said, "Hi Eric, I'd like to know where you got those big stickers wrap on your car. I love it so much, and I'm interested to have one on my Model Y." Thanks. So those are actually just like custom cut. I had a design, and I just had a local company cut them in the wrap that I had bought. So I would reach out to anyone, maybe a local, and see if they could cut you something and see how that goes. Let's see, where was
Tony and Doug, they were talking about how they log in. They just go to any site that has login with Google. So there, a lot of websites have that, and for like shopping or whatever. And they're saying that generates the token, which allows them. We tried that before, and that been a couple months, and it didn't work for us. But we should try that again.
Yeah, we'll have to try that again. Let's see. Where was that? Robert. He said, if I buy a Model 3 instead of a Model S, $35,000 difference, do you think I will have any regrets? Model 3 is a great car. Don't get me wrong. The biggest things that you will see different between the 3 and the S, the rear hatchback is super nice to have. The Model S is going to have some more creature comforts, like the heated steering wheel, which maybe will or won't be coming to 3 or Y. No idea on that.
Air suspension. It's a really nice air suspension.
Air suspension's amazing.
The additional range.
The range. There's a lot going for the S, but at the same point, if you can get a Model 3 and still have $35K left in your pocket, that's a win.
And that's
good.
And also too, you got to compare the features exactly, because if you go for the cheapest Model 3 and the most, then you can definitely spend. But if you're going to outfit everything you can on a Model 3, I don't think there's going to be a $35,000 difference. It's going to be a lot closer, especially because like we recently purchased a Model Y, and I think that it cost as much as like what the Model S is. They lowered the price on the Model S is cheaper than what we pay for our Model Y, and so there's definitely some overlap in prices. They're getting closer compared to what the Model S used to be. It used to be, close to 110, 120,000. So they're definitely bringing it down.
Yeah. But I mean, either one is a great vehicle. Don't get me wrong, but it's also what works for you. If you have 3 kids in car seats, the S would probably be a little bit more comfortable because it's a little wider.
Or if you need the hatch again. Now that the Y is out, it's like I would have normally said, the hatch of the S has all that extra room versus the trunk of the 3. But now that the Y is out, it's like that's going to be kind of the best of both worlds, I think, in between. But again, it kind of looks if looks are important to you too, I'd say the Model S. But if you're more concerned about versatility or cargo room, then probably the Model Y. But the Model 3 is still a nice car.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Chagog said, do you think the Cybertruck will have a camp mode where you can use part of the bed and interior cabin to allow air conditioning? So that was actually, a lot of people have been asking Elon for that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like maybe, but here comes the issue, is the, I always pronounce it wrong, the tonneau cover, the way it rolls down, they won't be able to completely drop that. I don't know if they could maybe just have the window lower. Because it goes kind of behind
the glass or whatever, right?
So I don't know if maybe they can just have the window lower. That would be sufficient enough to be able to use that air.
Yeah, so maybe the cabin wouldn't be attached to the bed, but if they were able to lower the glass, or if they just had some ventilation ducts, that would probably be the easiest thing is just to run ventilation back to the truck bed. And so you wouldn't be able to get in, maybe, if they don't lower the window, but at least you could cool it off.
Yeah, or heat it up.
Exactly.
Either way, though, I plan on camping in my Cybertruck.
Yeah, and a lot of people have requested that, so hopefully they'll do something for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people saying T-shirts. Some people saying water bottles.
That's an idea. Yeah.
We have some stuff to figure out. We'll say that it's been a long time coming. I guess we just need to sit down and just get it done.
Exactly.
Let's see. Steve talked about that and said Elon said he was seriously going to look into making the camp mode happen for the full car. I agree, though. I really hope it happens as well. Rob said S is out of date, go Y. I mean, I love Y.
The Y is really lame.
The S is just so classy and clean looking too, though.
I still like the styling of the S of all the vehicles so far. And it remains to be seen what new is coming out. So they're going to have the Plaid S we know next year, but is there going to be just a brand new S without the Plaid drivetrain or whatever?
Hopefully.
And so there's got to be a refresh of the S. It might have the new screen of the Y and the 3. It might have. Hopefully, they don't get rid of the.
What if it has like a 21-inch screen?
I don't know.
Like
Maybe
a massive screen.
I don't know. Because it's already 17, but if they rotate it, it's got to be at least 17, rotated. But it remains to be seen. But I think that the S, there's going to be something coming in the next year. Hopefully, not the really expensive Plaid. Hopefully, there's something cheaper than that as well.
Yep. Let's see. Colin said, "What are your thoughts on the Model X with either the 6 or 7-seater and Falcon Wing doors?"
Yeah.
Personally, my lifestyle doesn't warrant a 7-seater because those rear 2 seats aren't going to really be able to be used by anyone that I know
If you have little kids, a bunch of little kids,
Yeah.
then it's good. We actually owned a Model X last year. We had the 6-seater, and we just liked that. It was very roomy because if you did sit in the third row, these are actually third-row seats from a Model X. And so the leg room, if you only have a 6-seater, you could put your feet down the center aisle,
Yes.
and it gave you a lot more leg room. It was claustrophobic because with the wall there and the small window, it's a little cozy.
It's cozy for sure.
But the other seats, the second-row seats, are pretty comfortable. It would be nice if they had maybe armrests and stuff, but there's still plenty of room up there, and especially if you only had a 6-seater. If you do need seating for 7, then that's going to give you a bench seat in the middle. It's going to make it more difficult to get into the rear seats because you won't be able to go down that center aisle. You'd have to push the seats forward to get in there. But
Yeah,
so I would say if you don't need 7 seats, go for 6 seats
Yeah.
or 5.
The 6 is definitely the best in my opinion. However, I still wish those 2 captain's chairs would fold flat.
Yeah, that's one reason I originally had a
That would
Model
be nice.
X reserved years ago before they came out. I put down the $5,000 deposit because we saw the picture showing those second row seats were all supposed to fold forward, fold flat. And when we saw they only just tilted a little bit, when they first came out with the X, we're like, yeah, okay, I'll just get an S instead because that doesn't fit what I need. And then I realized I didn't need seating for 6 people, and I've had Model S since 2016, never had a problem. But we loved our Model X, but we kind of got it at the wrong time. Basically, like a week after we bought it, they came out with the Raven Model X, which had increased range and a better suspension. So it was still a great car. It just didn't have the latest and greatest. And we realized, we don't need the seating for 6.
Yeah. Steve actually has another good point. Said the S is for the young. My old bones can't get into an S, or can get into an S, but I need an assist to get back out.
It takes
X
a little,
and Y are for us less agile people. It's much easier to get in and out of an X or a Y than a 3 or an S, in my opinion, just because they're higher up vehicles.
And see, another thing I miss about the S and X is the instrument cluster. Yes, you don't need it behind the steering wheel, but I like it because you can put different apps up there. Like you can see either your music, or you have additional navigation information, or your energy graph. You can have all kinds of stuff on there, but you can't do that stock 3 or Y. But there are some companies that have like an extra little display that you can add on there. And if the Y came with that, I would probably go 100% with the Y, just because I like having that additional display information.
It is nice.
It still doesn't look as sexy on the outside, but it's all the functionality, like you said, easier to get into, and the range is great, and just the cargo room, it's like the best of all worlds, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Gabriel said, do you think the Cybertruck will make a decent work truck? I have a friend who works construction, and his current F-150 goes through a lot of abuse on the job. I actually think it'll make one of the best work trucks because you can abuse the crap out of the exterior. I see work trucks are dented so bad, but this won't dent.
Like we saw with maybe it wasn't a sledgehammer, but they took a really big hammer and during the unveiling. It was a sledgehammer,
yeah.
There's different words for it. There's different kinds of words. It looks like a hammer, but I don't remember the exact word, but it was effectively a sledgehammer, and they hit the side of the door, and it didn't dent the metal at all. It may have caused a problem with the glass, but I think they've probably fixed that, or they will be fixing that in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wouldn't worry about taking the Cybertruck off road because I think it's going to be really rugged.
Yep. The Moo said, what happened to a cheaper battery and less costly production costs? I'm a Tesla stockholder, but I do not like Elon raising the price of a car that I would like to own. I mean, he's actually dropped the price of the cars, but he's been raising the price of the software.
Yes, exactly.
And so I'll say this because as a shareholder and a dozen Tesla owner, weird flex, I know, right? But I like the fact that the software is getting more expensive from a shareholder point, and from a consumer standpoint who has bought a lot of Teslas, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's hard to be on both sides of the fence at the same time.
Yeah, but yeah, they've just had price cuts for like the S, and I think they brought the X down recently too, and so the price isn't really going up so much on the cars, but when they're adding new hardware, new features and stuff, and so they're making it better. But I wish that, like Eric was just talking about with software, I wish they would have like a transferable license or something, or like a site license. So we have like 4 Teslas in the garage. We can't drive them all at once. It would be nice if we could pay for full self-driving like per driver, and then not have to pay for it per car, because we can't drive them all at once.
Yeah. Tony Taylor with another $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Said, as long as you log into the same YouTube account as your YouTube TV, you only need to click on your account and select paid subscriptions. So those of you that have YouTube TV, that is kind of how you can do it. I actually don't have YouTube TV, which is weird because I'm a YouTuber. But I do have YouTube Premium, and I love that. Yeah. Maybe I should look into YouTube TV too. We got the dogs telling us
they keep coming down.
Maybe it's time for foods.
Yeah, I think they're like.
Oh, she just licked her chop. She
might
might have
just
already
eaten. We don't know, but yeah.
Rob said, "Should I buy the 2000?" Oh, thank you again, though, Tony. Really appreciate that help. Rob said, "Should I buy the $2,000 speed upgrade for my Model Y? I'm torn about the half-second speed gain."
My opinion.
That's really up to you.
I would say buy the car first, drive it, then determine. Maybe you already own it, but it's like, to me, it's already fast
crazy
enough
fast
that I don't know if you're gonna notice it. It's nice they do offer that for people who do want to have the fastest without paying for performance. But $2,000, you could buy a few shares of stock, or you could buy something else, and that you might enjoy more than half a second increase in acceleration.
Yeah. Model 3 dude said, "Say what you want, David, but you're never getting rid of your S," and I love that about you.
I might get rid of the S if we get a Plaid S, and we do have one on order.
Yeah.
But again, it remains to be seen. If they come out with a non-Plaid refreshed S, I would definitely consider that, yeah. The only thing is we currently are still locked in with free supercharging on both of the Model S's that we have, and so basically I've never had to pay for supercharging on the Model S in 4 years, because my previous S before that had free supercharging. So it's nice never having to pay when going on a road trip. But if you look at it, we paid for that when we bought the car. We paid a lot more, like 30% more than what they're selling them for now. So technically, it would be better to buy a cheaper car and have to pay for charging than to keep a car that still has free charging.
Free supercharging, as nice it may seem, it's not all it's cracked up to be, unless you really utilize it.
But if they came out with it like a brand new S that was refreshed, that cost a lot less than what we paid for the original 2017 S's, 2016 S's, I would definitely consider a new S. And again, the Plaid, we have one on order, reserved, but I don't know if I need one that fast. I definitely wouldn't mind saving $20,000, $30,000 and get one that was a little bit slower. Kind of like our $2,000 upgrade question. They're fast enough already, in my opinion.
John said, like my dad said, go big or go home. I just put it on you alone. Thank you so much, John, for the $5 super chat. And really, I think you've been here every single live session.
Pretty much, yeah. He's one of the
really
regulars.
Appreciate all the support.
Oh, look,
John.
the dogs are covered in snow, so I don't know if it's still snowing or what. But
we're wet.
They're all running around.
Really wet,
She's got
lady.
Snow all over her back. Yeah.
You just put your nose in the ground and
They're
ran.
getting all frisky.
Yeah, I know you're all wet. You're all wet. Let's see. Somebody asked how much we think the Model 3 will be in 2030.
I don't know.
That's a really good question.
That's too far out. I have no idea. And plus, there might be totally different models because who knows what they'll have by then. But I see Mojito just mentioned is full self-driving transferable. No, that's the problem. Is that if you pay for it, it stays with the car. Or if Tesla buys it back, they could take it away. So and then try to charge the new owner for it. So that's one thing. Like I said, we spent like $68,000 on autopilot. Not all of that was full self-driving, but a lot of it was on. When they've had all different packages for autopilot 1, autopilot 2, 2.5, 3. They had enhanced autopilot, full self-driving. $68,000, and unfortunately, it doesn't transfer over. If they did, we could have saved
a lot of money.
We probably could have saved $50,000 if it would have transferred over. Yeah. So That would be nice, especially when the price gets to be that expensive. Nobody's going to want to pay $10,000 for a car. And then,
I think it's really going to limit repeat buyers.
Yeah, they're not going to, or they're going to go into the subscription model. But I don't know. It remains to be seen when they announce a subscription how much that's going to cost.
Yeah. Somebody asked, will you get the Roadster, or have you perhaps managed to get one through the referral program? Well, thank you to all our viewers, much like everyone watching. We have been grateful enough to get some through the referral program.
Well, we've earned them. We have not received them yet. So we're waiting on those.
Still waiting.
We're eagerly awaiting them. I don't think it's going to happen in 2020.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, there's still time. We have 2 months, Elon.
Yes.
If you're watching, just give us a call. We'll
And if they
come.
just want to do one of them this year, that's fine. We
Yes.
can take the rest of them next year.
Totally fine, whatever works for you. But yeah, thanks to everyone who has used our referral code. Now, unfortunately, they're not doing any Roadster programs now. The only perk from a referral code is 1,000 free supercharging miles. But when that was out, huge thanks to anyone who's ever used our referral code.
They used to have a lot of nice physical prizes. The only
Yeah.
physical prize now is if you do you can also use the solar. If you're getting solar, you can use a referral. You get $100 something. But if the referee or whatever gets enough referrals, they will give away a Powerwall now. But it's pretty rare to get a Powerwall via solar referrals, I would say.
Yeah. Colin said, have you ever heard or dealt with the deteriorating Falcon Wing door roof seals? I have not. The weirdest thing, though, I ever saw was somebody had those roof seals for the Falcon Wing doors, like, pecked at and eaten by and torn apart by birds.
Wow.
It was wild. It looked like the seals had just been murdered, and they actually got video of birds, like crows, on top of their car, just like peeling at it.
And see, I wonder if those owners did something, because I was reading the other day that crows can hold a grudge, and if you do something to them, they might do something back to you.
I mean, this is where you need to put out a little bird seed.
Yeah,
just saying.
Help them out. Yeah. But one thing is, we had a Model X again. We didn't own it long enough to have that problem, and our Model X2 was like a 2019, so they might have fixed that. I know, some of the earlier 2016 models might have had more issues. They definitely have improved things over the years.
Yeah. Let's see where we are at. Diego said, is it weird there's no Model Y diecast yet? Extremely.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it, but
you can't really.
Let me zoom out a little. One second.
We have like the 3, the S, the X, and the Roadster, but there's no Y. Why?
Why?
Why not? There's a Semi, but still no Y. So I keep checking for it. You'd think, especially with Christmas coming up, they would have that. They do have.
That's a really wide angle.
They do have the My First Model Y for kids, which is a little like toy for toddlers, but it's not a diecast. It'd be nice if they came out with the diecast. And a Hot Wheels. They don't have the Hot Wheels yet either. Yeah. But wait, isn't that coming out soon? No, that's the Cybertruck.
That's Cybertruck.
It's supposed to be coming out, next month or December?
Very soon.
But yeah, they still need the Model Y.
Yeah.
So you need to zoom back in.
Somebody asked, will all the Roadsters fit in the garage? Unfortunately, no. We'll figure out plans.
They would if we removed the other cars.
Yeah. we'll figure out plans for that once time comes. Steve said, I wonder if you have FSD and your car gets stolen, you can redirect your car to the local police station via that.
Maybe. Right
that
now,
would be epic.
Yeah.
Epic. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit because that's going to drive me nuts. Do you like my cool stuff up here?
A little.
I have like some Komodo dragons from Komodo when I went and visited. We got Bali stuff. I have an award for best gecko. I don't know if this goes any wider.
Hey Eric, I forgot to tell you.
Oh, I got some other like cool stuff.
I forgot to tell you, Eric. Remember one day somebody asked you about what's behind the door, and you're like, oh, and you went and you showed the snakes.
Yeah.
That guy messaged me the other day, and he's like, hey, I'm the guy that did that. So we had a little chat. So I thank him. I need to reply to him.
Everyone asks what's behind the door.
What's behind the door?
And if you have to ask, you probably don't want to know. No, I have some snakes back there. Real snakes, no joke. It's what I do. Let's see. Diego said, aren't the taxes for the Roadster like $90K? Start selling merch, guys. LOL. So yeah, everyone's like, wow, you won some Roadsters. Like, that's so cool. I'm not trying to downplay it because it's amazing. It's kind of like winning like lottery or something. It's kind of wild.
It's probably better because we're never going to win the lottery. So it's nice that we have earned some Roadsters.
I play, never win. So yeah, every Roadster that we have won is going to be like $95,000 in taxes. So while you see people winning these Roadsters and everything, it sounds really great until you get that tax bill, which you don't have to pay until you take delivery of the Roadster. But
Like the next year or whatever. Yeah.
That will count as income, and you will have to pay taxes on that. So it's going to be like over like a third the value of the car will be taxes.
So chances are we're not going to keep all the Roadsters.
Yeah.
We're going to have to sell them to pay for their taxes. So.
Yeah. So merch coming soon. No, I'm totally fine having to pay the taxes. It's gonna suck.
Yeah, I see someone, Chatana, I think. Sorry, Reddy. She was asking. I think it's a she. Sorry if it's a he. They were saying if you sell your Model Y within a year, do you have to return the state EV incentive you received? It depends on what state you're in. In the state of Colorado, you don't have to do that, but I believe in the state of California you do. So you better check with their actual EV incentive program of whatever state you live in. Colorado, you just have to buy it, and without the intention of selling it, and then you can get that tax credit. It's yours. You can sell it in a day, as long as you weren't intentionally buying it, and then with the plan of selling it, you can claim the tax credit. California, I think they prorate it. You have to keep it for like a year or two.
Yeah. Let's see. Several people said they like the new angle, the wide angle. Maybe we'll have to do that sometimes. Somebody said
up.
snakes. Oh, that's okay. I was thinking something like a diesel generator. Lol.
No.
That's hilarious. Chelsea, interesting fact of the day. Komodo dragons can be asexual if no other mate is around. Yeah. Reptiles are fascinating. I think that's why I've been drawn to them and love them so much. I've been able to interact with many Komodo dragons. Actually, it's an amazing experience. Was that volume from yours? Or is he out here playing a game? He might be out there playing a game. Anyway, I'm fascinated with reptiles in general. It's kind of been a long-running thing. And yeah, Model 3 dude said snakes. It had to be snakes.
But
pretty much.
His first Tesla had a license plate geckos.
Yeah.
So it was...
I used to be quite the gecko breeder. Not going to lie. Not trying to toot my own horn. But yeah. Oh, somebody said snake jazz behind the door. Lol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would show them to you. Remind me next week and I'll show them to you. But I sat out food for them and I cleaned them earlier, so they're all a little amped up right now and I don't feel like getting bit. But remind me next week during the live stream and I'll take them out again. Sanjay said, what's your opinion on the new Model 3 performance rims versus the ones before the refresh? I mean, these are basically like the Y rims, so I don't mind them.
Is he talking about those new ones, like they changed the sport wheels so they're a little flatter or something like that? Or is he talking about
the performance? He said.
Oh, the performance one, yeah.
So where's my mouse? I lost my mouse. Did a snake eat it? See what I did there? Okay, I don't know where my mouse went for the screen. Okay, well I guess I won't pull it up. Just kidding.
Oops.
Let's see.
I see Mark Corey was saying if you have free supercharging as an owner and you trade in your car, do you still get free supercharging? Unfortunately, no. It used to be back if you bought a car before, the date's a little bit different, but basically any car before 2017 had supercharging that stayed with that car for the life of that car. There were some exceptions and different rules. Then in about 2017, when they still offered free supercharging, it was only for that original owner. It would not transfer if you sold it. And they haven't really offered it since then. So if you do trade in that car, buy a new one, you don't get free supercharging. The only thing you'll be able to get is that referral supercharging miles. And so some of the cars we have on our account, we have multiple cars. Some of them have totally free supercharging. Some of them use like our free supercharging miles. Or if we didn't have any miles, we would have to pay.
Yeah. Let's see. Reddy said, what color would you take on your Roadster? Well, I would love a white one.
I'd say one of each.
And I want that like burnt orange, reddish color that they unveiled.
Yeah,
so I would like one of each.
Yeah, I would get white.
Now we need to
definitely.
decide which one we want to have the SpaceX package and which one we don't want to have the SpaceX package. Thoughts? Comment in chat.
It remains to be seen because originally they said that if you have the SpaceX package, it won't have that extra seating. So, because technically I think it's supposed to have seating for 4, but they
I mean, I'm never putting people in the back.
Yeah, well, if you're going to go around to give some test rides when you do the road trip,
there won't be people in the back. It's going to be one at a time.
One at a
Those
time.
back seats are going to be tight.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun.
But are they? You think they're going to be like sideways, or would they still be just really?
No, they're going to be facing forward.
Facing forward, kind of like that. Remember when you test drove that Cadillac? And it's like there was no legroom. It was like I had like no legroom.
No one's going to want to be back there, so I don't need those anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dan said, is the used car market full self-driving no longer transferable? Depends. If you're selling it used as a private party, it's transferable with the car. If you trade in a Tesla with full self-driving, they could remove that and sell it without. That's kind of their prerogative. That one case, it was a really kind of high profile thing about somebody buying a used car from a different dealer, not Tesla, and then full self-driving got removed after they bought it. That was because that car was actually sold at an auction and wasn't supposed to have full self-driving, and somehow ended up with it.
A lot of times too, they have the sticker, the Mulroney sticker that said it came with it, and if the dealership gets the car, they say, "Oh yeah, it has it," and then they sell it to you. But since Tesla sold it at auction, they took it off. So Tesla's kind of double dipping in there, where they're removing it. But in some ways, it's for most of the time, it's not good for the consumer. But I can see how Tesla can actually have a car that might have it if you don't want to pay that much,
they can
take
lower
it
the
off
price.
and lower the price of the car. So in some ways, it's better because it lets you get the car cheaper. But if it comes with it, the buyer would want the best of both worlds. They want a cheaper car and full self-driving.
Right. We got some snake questions and reptile questions real quick. Love it. Alex, have you been bitten before? If so, how many times? Too many times to count. It's been a lot. Let's see. Mark said, don't let a Komodo dragon bite you. Even if the bite itself doesn't get you hurt, the bacteria can make you wish you had. In the wild, yes. In captivity, not so much because they don't eat like rotting flesh in captivity.
Mm-hmm. I see. Oh, I'm gonna jump ahead. I see Roger. That's Roger. I think that's Roger that we know up in Montana. That he said, "Are you coming to Montana?" And the plan would be yes, on the Roadster road trip.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, we're gonna go everywhere. We're gonna go to
We're
Canada.
gonna hit up all 50 states.
The thing is, we might not do it all in one trip. It might be several road trips. So we might do like West Coast and then Canada and then Southeast. So we plan on going all over because we want to share our Tesla enjoyment with everyone that we can because the Roadster is going to be pretty rare. So we're gonna try to do a few road trips with it.
Oh yeah.
Once it comes out.
We plan to have the highest mileage Roadster ever. Maybe. Why not? I don't care. Let's do this. Let's have fun with
Enjoy it. Yeah.
We+3 said, using your link to buy a new X. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank
enjoy.
you. If you have any questions, reach out. Happy to help. Emails listed down below. Thank you though so much for the support.
And enjoy those free supercharging.
Enjoy
miles.
it. Drive the X. I absolutely love the X. If we would have gotten a Raven model, I would still have the X today. I guarantee you.
And just something to be aware of with those free supercharger miles is they don't last forever. They expire. You just make sure you read the fine print. I don't remember if it's 6 months or a year, but make sure you use them before they run out.
Definitely.
But if you don't, it's not a huge loss.
Yeah. Jeffrey said, can you use your own referral code? You bet you can. Definitely.
We have actually used our own referral
Yep.
codes.
In which case, if you have any cars with non-free supercharging, so paid supercharging, you'll get 2,000 miles. So definitely check it out. John said, I've only used supercharging twice in 5 months. I use my Tesla wall charger. So really the only time we supercharge is basically on road trips. Occasionally we'll supercharge around town if we're running really low because we've been running all over or went down to
if we're having
Springs
a meetup
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But normally we just charge strictly at home.
Yeah.
And it works out really well.
And see, Mark had another supercharger thing. He mentions that when he bought his S, they said it was free for the owner, not for the car.
Correct.
And it changed. Again, if it was before 2017, it was for the life of the car, and that would transfer to other owners. Coming later in 2017, it became just for that owner, and then once you sold it, that car no longer had free supercharging.
Yep. Let's see. Some people asking about the snakes. Okay, I'll grab one. You convinced me. It's a small one, though. I'm not going to bring out the big ones because they smell the rats, and I don't want to get bit.
See, Diego's wondering. He wants to see behind the door, too. So
well, he said you lost me at what's behind the door. Not a fan of reptiles, but the white one's cool.
Well, you might. Oh, what's going on? Mr. Kit's.
Well, I need to... Scott's out there, like, drying them off, and now Kit has a towel.
They've been playing in the snow, so I guess they've been getting a little bit wet.
Let's see... can you call them so I can pull a snake out for them? I don't want them in... I don't like the dogs in the room when I have snakes out.
Go outside. The dogs like to check out the snake food, though. I'll say that. They have to be convinced. They know that something's happening, so we gotta lock them out here.
All right, here. I'll change this so David can answer some questions.
Do the snakes have names? One of them has a name.
Some of yes, they all do actually. I
They
just
do?
don't really.
Oh,
Make it
I know one of the snakes is Slither, but I don't know any of the other snake names. But one of the snakes Eric's had since he was like a teenager. I don't. How old is that snake? Slither?
Since 1997.
Since 1997. So this is a small one of the smallest ones.
Yep, there's a newbie. A little ball python. She's a little cute.
So he doesn't have the Tesla logo on it. Haha. No. But he's white. He's kind of like a pearl
This
white.
is a girl.
Or she is. Don't you have a male that looks just like that though?
This is a ball python. Those are boas.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I
it's
can't keep
weird,
track.
but you can kind of see some faint pattern on her side a little bit. But yeah, she's a leucistic. Here, I'll go to the other one.
Wait. Oh, I thought you left it on the desk for a
She's a
second there.
leucistic. No, I would never leave her on the desk. She's oh wow. Okay, the light's too bright on that one. Not going to that one. Anyway though, you can hear she's not hissing because she likes me.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't fans of your snakes, so.
It is what it is. That's why they're not in a lot of videos.
Yeah, that's why they're behind the door.
Yeah.
And we don't do videos on snakes, we do videos on Teslas. So if you have, I don't own any snakes, so I just own Tesla. I'm not really uneasy. I don't associate with the snakes.
I don't associate.
I've touched them once or twice when Eric's been like medicating them and stuff like that, but they're not my thing. Yeah, but I don't mind them. Scott, on the other hand, he screams like a little girl or something.
Sydney EV says we have bearded dragons. They don't bite as much. Okay, so Sydney, are you in Australia? Quick question. I assume you are, because if you are, one, I actually don't keep bearded dragons. I never have. But knobtail geckos, Nephurus, those are what I was probably one of like the forefront breeders in the world for quite a while. Not gonna lie.
That's how Eric bought his first Tesla.
Yeah, they literally paid for it. I had a ton of them. I had all kinds of cool stuff.
Oh, and we got the typical question about the Model X.
How did we get those Model X seats? We did not steal them from a car. Just clarify that. I actually bought them off of eBay, and they were from totaled cars that the gentleman was parting out, and he just so happened to have two sets. So here, I'm gonna. Oh, look at that! Oh, I could sit on the couch.
Oh, your mom just chimed in. She said that Slither is from 1998.
Oh, thank you, Mom. Hi, Mom.
That would date back to almost 22 years then. Wow.
So basically, these were from totaled Teslas, and the gentleman actually ended up having two sets. So I was like, I'll get them. I'll make like a large couch. But that set is not perforated. This set is perforated.
Yeah, kind of hard to see on camera.
But
yeah.
the great thing is the seatbelts work. I built these cool little stands. I actually have a whole video on it. Check it out if you'd like. I have not done the USB powered yet or stuff like that, but
we should just go battery pack in there.
It's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a cool little like.
And we did a video once where we took these seats and we placed them in the back of a Model Y just to see if they fit. They kind of fit, but it was a pretty cozy fit. If they do come out with that, when they do come out with the 7-seat Model Y, they're gonna have to be smaller seats than these.
Yeah. Some people said they love the puppies more. That's fine. The puppies are great.
I do too.
Someone said same age as me, but so disgusting.
Oh wow.
Diego said, "How big will that little white one get?" She'll probably only get like 4 feet. She's pretty small. Love snakes. Used to have a couple boa constrictors. Well, you're gonna have to come back next week, rough to man, because I got some sweet boas in there. I can't really bring them out now because they're getting ready to be fed.
Addict had a question about if they can be retrofitted onto a 5-seater. I don't know.
I do not believe you can retrofit
Not
them.
easily, because another thing with the 5-seater versus 7-seater is the 6 and 7-seaters have like an additional like compressor for the air conditioning, so they have the vents back there to keep the rear passengers cooler. So that would be a lot of work. I don't think it would be affordable. I'm sure you could do it, but it wouldn't be cheap. And I don't know if Tesla would do that. You might have to do it yourself.
Yeah. The official Justin Wong said, "Does your bike rack on the hitch scrape when you're going up a garage lot or any inclined area?" So I haven't had an issue with this. However, it does stick out a lot. So if you have a really steep driveway or a really steep incline, if you have the 4 bikes on there, it sticks out like 8 feet. you could potentially scrape. So I guess you need to be careful for that. Let's see. Is it real from peak time racing? Is it realistic standpoint? How much bigger is the Model Y over the 3? Trying to decide which one to order.
It's definitely more comfortable.
There's a lot more room.
So for the front seat, for the driver passenger, it's more comfortable to get into a Model Y versus a Model 3. For the second row, passengers, there's several more inches of leg room in the Model Y versus the Model 3, and there's a ton more cargo room because it's the hatch versus the trunk. So I definitely prefer the Y over the 3.
Yeah, I mean, the interior's larger, so it's going to feel more spacious. It's going to feel roomier.
Also, the way they did the glass roof, it doesn't have the beam going across.
True.
So it's just all open glass back there.
The Model Y, I feel, is more of a family car for people. Just because I think it's easier to get in and out of also. Yeah. There's a lot of
Or if you have older kids, it's more room than the 3. If you only had a little couple kids, toddlers, whatever, then a 3 would probably still be fine.
Yep.
And somebody else had a question I just saw about the Model Y. What was it? Oh, no, somebody was asking about how this compares to the e-tron, but they didn't say which car, so I don't know.
I would assume the Model Y, because that's probably the closest.
I would still choose the Model Y over the e-tron, just because it's got a better range and it's got the Supercharger network. And I would still choose it. I think the e-tron, maybe there's more buttons and stuff. The interior might be a little nicer, but the Tesla tried to keep it really simple, and it's very simplistic in there. You don't have all the extra buttons because everything's controlled via the center screen.
Yeah. We have been live for 2 hours now. It's been a while since we've live streamed, so we're letting it go over a little bit. We're probably going to go ahead and end it right about here. If you have any questions that we didn't answer or get to, sorry about that. As soon as this video is pushed by Tesla and goes live as just a normal video, definitely comment your question and we will try our best to get to it then. But really appreciate all you guys hanging out. Thanks so much. I can't wait to see what kind of fun news we can get this week, and definitely look forward to next week. Not sure again though if it'll be Saturday or Sunday. We'll kind of play it by ear. I think Sundays tend to work out a little easier, but sometimes depending on what we have going on, Saturdays actually work out best. So definitely stay tuned. If we're doing it, it will be published that morning when it will be live, so you guys can check it out. As always though, huge thanks to our channel sponsor, Abstract Ocean. If you are looking to accessorize your SX3 or Y, definitely check them out. All linked down below, and using code Tesla Inventory will get you 15% off of your first purchase. Huge shout out to them for really help make all this possible, so we can hang out with you guys.
And thanks again for everybody who's used the referral code.
Referral code,
Congratulations
Super Chats,
on your purchase.
All you guys.
And
thank you.
the Super Chats too. Thanks again. Wow.
Yep. We will see you guys next week. Some videos this week, and then live stream next week. Bye.